Hey guys, if you haven't already, give the video a like, subscribe to my channel. This is a what if series and I'll be doing more down the road. Plus Ultra!
Hey guys, and welcome to What If Naruto Was the Reincarnation of Yujiro Hanma Part 6. Now, I know I set the like goal to 200 likes. I probably set it too high for you guys. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, let's not even waste any more of you guys' time. And I do have a pretty good upload schedule as to what I'm finna do tonight. So after this video, I'm gonna do another part to What If I Was in Dragon Ball, because I would like to continue that story and to finish that story. I'm also gonna be doing What If Deku was Ghostface. I'm gonna be adding another part to that. And then I'm also gonna be doing What If basically you guys are in for a treat. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to go down the list of what I'm going to do, but when you see it, you see it. If you're happy about it, I applaud you. But anyway, I'm going to be doing a lot of, before this month is over with, I'm going to try to get out as many Halloween themed what ifs, such as what if Naruto had Pennywise abilities, powers? Yes, that's going to be getting released. I'm also going to be doing what if these certain characters were Jason, Michael Myers, Jeepers Creepers, Freddy Krueger, stuff like that. This is just going to be a very gruesome month, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, without any further ado, let's get into the story. So we left off with Naruto and Jiraiya being in the Hokage's office and getting information that they had to go retrieve Lady Tsunade to become the fifth Hokage because Hiruzen Sarutobi was stepping down from the position. So with all that, Naruto would go and pack his bags and get ready for the journey. And he would often smile as he's heard a lot about Lady Tsunade. He's heard that she's very, very strong from what Jiraiya has told him. So on their journey to go retrieve Lady Tsunade, Jiraiya would come across to Naruto and tell him, do you use anything called, like, do you use chakra? And Naruto would say, come on, old man. You really think I don't know how to use chakra? This Jiraiya would say, well, I haven't really seen you use much chakra. The only thing I've seen you use was a shadow clone jutsu, and that's what you helped to beat. Basically, the only thing I have seen you do, Naruto, was use your hands. And Naruto would laugh and say, well, that's the only thing I do need is my hands. I can beat anybody down with my bare fist. I don't need a knife, kunai, explosive tags, or jutsu to do that. But, seeming as if you're asking me this question, what do you have in mind? And this is where Jiraiya would form a Rasengan in his hand and say, well, if you don't like using attacks or jutsus, would you like to use this? Seeming as if this is not a jutsu. And this would intrigue Naruto's, like, well, this would basically pique Naruto's interest, and it was the Rasengan. So Naruto would look at it and he would see how this thing is formed, and he would ask Jiraiya what are the three steps. And I think the first step was a water balloon, the rubber ball, and to combine both of those abilities. So Naruto would just stick out his hand and saying, so somewhat like this. And it wouldn't be much of a big Rasengan. It would be like a small version of a Rasengan in his hand. And Jiraiya would be even shocked that Naruto managed to get off a smaller version of the Rasengan just that quickly by just looking at it at that. So Naruto would form the small Rasengan in his hand. And he would tell Jiraiya that I haven't got the gist of this attack yet, but I'm almost there. I mean, if this is what I can create now, I wonder what a continuous training could do. Well, no matter. I'll just keep up at it. So on the days where they were journeying to Lady Tsunade, Naruto would be in his hotel while Jiraiya would have it to go do some work. Well, stuff work and everything. And this is where Naruto would get a knock on the door. Naruto would sense two presents behind the door and instantly kick the door in. Well, kick the door forward. Itachi and Kisame would dodge this, seeming as if they didn't, well, it caught them off guard, let's say that. Naruto would approach them with a very big smile and he would say, you two seem very strong. And this is where Naruto would smile and he would charge at the black-haired individual, and he would start delivering, throwing off various amounts of blows. Itachi would activate his Sharingan, three Tomoe Sharingan, not the Mangekyo Sharingan, and this is where Naruto and Itachi would go at it. Naruto would trip Itachi up and kick him dead in the chest, and Itachi would just spew into crows. Now this is where Itachi would grow into a sweat as he can sense that Naruto is no ordinary genin. He's really not. He can tell that Naruto's somewhat on a low tuning or a high joning. Well, let's say this, a high tuning and a low joning. Let's say that, but it might be wrong. For all Itachi know that Naruto could be above a jonin level, as Naruto would go to state. So judging by your robes and everything, you're a Akatsuki, aren't you? I wonder, what does the Akatsuki want with me? Naruto would smile and ask. And this is where Itachi would say, Naruto, you're coming with us. And Naruto would look at Itachi and Kisame, and he would tell them both, why don't you make me come with you? Only if you can. I won't use anything in my arsenal but my bare hands. Oh, and this new jutsu I've recently just mastered. See, you interrupted my training, but you didn't interrupt it too much. I kinda mastered the Rasengan. So, let's see what you got. And can I ask your names before we begin this fight? And this is where Itachi would state his name saying, I'm Itachi Uchiha, and this is Kisame. And Naruto would say, good, very well. Now let us commence. Naruto would charge at both of them with Kisame swinging his sword to what Naruto barely dodged and kicked it out of Kisame's hand very effectively. I mean, it was very easy as soon as, because Naruto was so fast to the point where Kisame swung his blade, he dodged under it, kicked Kisame's wrist, and the sword went flying. And this is where Naruto delivered a barrage of punches to Kisame, but Kisame did his jutsus and pushed Naruto back with his water bullet or water pushback. He pushed Naruto back with his water style jutsus. And this is where Naruto would just have his hands blocking his face, blocking in a cross X position as he skied back. Well, his feet dragged back and he stopped himself in place with his pure strength, just stopped himself when took the full force of Kisame's water style jutsu attack. I don't know which one. I think it was Shark Bomb or Shark whatever it was called. This is where Itachi would double team him, and Kisame would be double teaming Naruto, and this is where Naruto would say, this is getting very interesting as I've never fought two highly skilled ninjas at once. Naruto's shirt would begin to rip off of him, and this is where Naruto would push back Itachi and Kisame with the force of his yell. And now we see the dramatic Yujiro music starts to play, and Naruto's demon back is revealed. Naruto's eyes grow red as his fingernails grow to points and his teeth elongates into fangs, canines. And this is where Naruto smiles at them and he gets into his signature Yujiro stance and he says, this time, I just wanted to test out you guys' ability, but I will not hold back. But they were later interrupted by Sasuke, because Sasuke heard that Itachi was going after Naruto, because he first was in the village and attacked, but you already know how the village storyline went, so I'm not going to go into that much. So this is where Sasuke would be in the building where Naruto was fighting Kisame and Itachi, and Sasuke would go out to yell, Itachi! And this is where Sasuke would be in, he's not enraged, but let's say the anger is still there. So Sasuke still charges at Itachi, but this time he doesn't have the Shindori activated. He charges at Itachi, and before Itachi could move or do an attack, Sasuke uppercutted Itachi and kicked Itachi into a wall. Itachi would use his normal, Genju, well, not Genju, substitution jutsu and spew into crows, only for Sasuke to counterattack where he was placed at and send a ferocious elbow to Itachi's stomach. And Itachi would go flying back. Kisame would call out to his shark skin sword and it would come flying back to him and he would swing rapidly at Sasuke, and this is where Naruto would come in and catch Kisame's sword and punch Kisame in the face. And this is where Naruto would punch a hole through the sword, basically destroying the sword at a hole, just basically making the sword useless. Nobody can use it. And this is where Naruto would use his Rasengan and then basically eradicate the sword. This would drive Kisame to further be angered by what Naruto just did to his stuff, and Kisame would charge at Naruto, and these two would get into a one-on-one battle with Sasuke and Itachi both looking at each other, and Itachi very shocked, not shocked but surprised that Sasuke got this strong this fast. Like Sasuke's just a getting, and he just delivered two good punches to Itachi. And he even predicted where Itachi was going to appear next. See, what Itachi was going to do is come behind Sasuke, grab him by the neck, and pin him against the wall, saying, "You're too weak. You're not strong enough." And that didn't work out to what Itachi thought he was going to do. So, yeah, things played a little bit differently than they did in canon. And Itachi and Sasuke are just staring at each other and saying, "So, little brother, you managed to get strong, but you still lack in one department. You don't have the same eyes as I do." And Itachi stands back up, and Sasuke just goes to look at him and saying, "I might not have the same eyes as you do, but I've been training very hard. I've been mastering my taijutsu, getting me up to another, a par on, just because I got one goal." So Sasuke's been training so hard so that he can beat Naruto. Naruto has always been in front of Sasuke. Even Naruto has stood above Sasuke, even beat Sasuke, and Sasuke feels a little bit intimidated by Naruto, and highly intimidated by Naruto, to the point that Sasuke had to train himself so hard, to the point that Sasuke trained himself to pure exhaustion, might even broke his bones a few times, might even busted his knuckles till they bled, and might even ran till he couldn't even breathe anymore. Sasuke has been training himself vigorously, effectively, and very intense. So we now get into the battle where Sasuke and Itachi both charge at each other, and they're going at it. I'm talking about taijutsuing down this, and Itachi is trying, he's very cautious. He wants to use his Mangekyo Sharingan, but the situation is getting way too out of hand. They only came here to capture Naruto. Itachi didn't plan on fighting his younger brother or even fighting anyone else in the matter, and he didn't even suspect that Naruto would be this strong, as when Itachi looked back over, Naruto had Kisame by the neck and a Rasengan in his hand, and he looked at Kisame and said to him, "So, you are known as the tailed beast. I've even pushed you to use this form. Too bad you couldn't get it off in time, because before, in the midst of Kisame getting pushed back and without nothing in his corner, he was so heavily, he was trying to transform into his final form before Naruto just rammed a Rasengan through his heart. Kisame is dead. So Naruto dropped Kisame's lifeless body, and this is where Jiraiya Sensei would come in and do his toad mouth thing, but Itachi escaped and rendered the mission a failure. With Kisame dead, one of the Akatsuki members have died. Naruto would grit his teeth, saying another another good battle just escaped his grasp, and he's mad, he's angry, he slams his foot down, and the whole hotel building shakes. People thinking it's an earthquake finna happen, but Naruto just lets out a sigh, and he looks at Sasuke, and he instantly smiles and saying, "Sasuke, you've gotten a lot stronger, haven't you?" And Sasuke would look at Naruto, and he would say, "Naruto, right here, right now." Naruto would look at Sasuke and say, "What?" And this is where Sasuke would say, "Come on, this is not like you. Aren't you supposed claiming to be one of the strongest ninjas in the world? You should be jumping to the fact of fighting me. I don't know what kind of bullshit title you're heading for, Naruto, but I want to fight you. You should be jumping at this opportunity." And this is where Naruto would look at Sasuke and he would say, "Come on, Sasuke, your legs are shaking." Sasuke would look down, and this is when Naruto would rush him and grab him by the face and push him into the wall. And this is where Naruto would look at Sasuke and saying, "So since you think you've trained so hard to the point of death, you have the guts or balls to challenge me? You don't know shit." As Naruto grabs Sasuke's face and rams him through the wall, And Sasuke would have his eyes wide open. And this is where Sasuke would say, I still have a lot of training to do. Naruto's insanely strong. And this is where Sasuke would just make his way back to the village. Well, basically just training more, throwing punches and stuff like that. Sasuke ideals is to become so strong that he can one day beat Naruto or become an equal to Naruto. And now we get into the part where Naruto and Jiraiya go to meet Lady Tsunade. And everything would happen as usual with her bad-mouthing the Hokage, but Naruto really doesn't care about that, seeming as if he only values strength and everything, but it is getting a little annoying. And this is where Naruto would say, so, your name is Tsunade, right? Well, if you can bad-mouth the Hokage, have you ever been in a position that the Hokage have been in? Have you ever risked your life for an entire village? Have you ever had that responsibility on your shoulders? No, you haven't. As I remember, you have a grandfather who was the first Hokage who founded the village. You should have been following in his footsteps. Instead, you only inherited some kind of bad drinking problem, I guess. And Lady Tsunade would intervene saying, what do you know, you brat? The Hokage only brings death and misery. And this is where Naruto would look at Tsunade and saying, this is the way of the ninja world. You have to accept that. I don't know what happened to you in your past or what made you go to this point, but you took the act. You took the responsibility, and it's all on you. You can't blame anybody for it but yourself. You're the one that wanted to become a ninja. You're the one that wanted to become a ninja. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. And you knew the ways of the ninja world, that there was kill or be killed, and you would have to take someone's life or they were going to take yours. And if I'm correct, I do feel a strong sense that you have lost something precious to you. I don't know if it was a lover, a sibling. What was it? This would shock Lady Tsunade as she would tell Naruto, I don't have to tell you anything. You're a brat. Well, Naruto says, well, I don't care about what you have to tell me. You don't have to discuss your personal life with me. But right now, we need a new Hokage for the village. And you're the most likely candidate. You're lucky number one. So are we going to do this the easy way or the hard way, Tsunade? And this is where Tsunade would pique interest in Naruto, saying, this Genin is threatening me? And this is where she would slam her hand on the table and look at Naruto, and Naruto would smile. And she would say, if you can manage to beat me in a fight, I will gladly rejoin. No, I'll make it even better for you. I would throw in this necklace right here, and I will gladly join the Leaf Village as their new 5th Hokage. What do you say? And Naruto would take this bet and smile. They would go out to the street as usual, and they would begin commencing their battle. Lady Tsunade would be throwing as much punches as she can. Kicks, punches, right hooks, left hooks. She would be throwing everything in her arsenal. She would even hit the ground. And this would surprise Naruto as she has some incredible strength. Lady Tsunade would punch Naruto in the face, in the stomach, in the chest, slam Naruto on the ground, and Naruto would just be taking the brunt force of all her attacks. And she would then back away from Naruto and say, had enough. Naruto would stand up and brush himself off, and he would say, that's very interesting. You are very strong, but your punches, they just don't seem to be that effective towards me. And Lady Tsunade would be like, what was that? Naruto would rush Lady Tsunade and punch her in the stomach, kick her in the face, and then grab her by her leg and slam her to the ground just like she did him. But this would hurt Lady Tsunade very, very badly because she would cough up blood from the slam that Naruto just gave her. Naruto would be smiling as he's delivering so many blows that Lady Tsunade can barely even attack. She then goes to get serious, very serious, and fighting Naruto, and this is where a lot of destruction is coming into play. Like, Lady Tsunade is throwing off blows that are seemingly hitting buildings or hitting the street that's causing cracks or various amounts of destruction. And Naruto, every time he swings, he connects. So if he says, I'm going to hit you in your rib cage, he hits her in the rib cage and her rib cage cracks. Or if he says, I'm going to hit you in the stomach, he hits her in the stomach and she coughs up spit. Lady Tsunade is in her 100 healings, like the mark just formed on her face and everything, and she's in her 100 healings. And Naruto is, well, basically on the offense and defense against her, but she just on the defense. She's just trying to block off Naruto's attacks, and she feels the heaviness from his punches. Keep in mind, this is a Genin, but Naruto is not no regular 12-year-old. As those hits are getting heavier and heavier and heavier, as one hit when Naruto swung broke Lady Tsunade's arm, but she healed due to her 100 healings mark. So Lady Tsunade would look at Naruto, but she would instantly see blood and she would get scared because she would see her blood and she would look at Naruto and Naruto would just be like, so you're squeamish about blood. That only gives me more correction that you did lose somebody in your past life. But Naruto just bends down and look at Tsunade on the ground, and she looks up at him. So, do you want to continue? And this is where Lady Tsunade will get very angry, but she would just let out a sigh and say, I guess a deal's a deal. You won. Here, take the necklace. I'll gladly return as the 5th Hokage. Naruto would sit in a crisscross position right now, like, and looking Tsunade dead in the face. And he would say, I don't know what happened back then or what made you go to this point. But if death makes you weaker than what you are now, you shouldn't let that take control of you. You should instead fight back at it. And so what I think is that if you lost someone and it drove you to this point, is that what they really would have wanted, to see you like this? Yeah. Do you really think they would have been proud of you to see their lover or sister drunk become a drunken hazard and a gambler? And this is where Lady Tsunade would have a whole turnaround, and then that whole battle with Orochimaru thing would come back and commence. But sorry, I had to swallow there. Seeming as if Orochimaru, he would retreat. He most likely will retreat because he doesn't want to get into a battle with Naruto again. I mean, this guy stopped him from killing the Hokage, stopped him from biting Sasuke, giving the Sasuke the curse mark, and now he stopped like Orochimaru from getting his arms healed. This brat keep getting in Orochimaru's way, and Orochimaru is getting pissed by the moment. Every time Orochimaru is having like a good breakthrough, Naruto just jumps in the way and is getting heavily aggravated. So Orochimaru is going to devise a plan just to deal with Naruto. And this is another secret. So Orochimaru is going to be studying. He's going to find some kind of being that exists so long ago, possibly like millions and millions of years ago. So Orochimaru is going to do some studying. And let's just say Orochimaru genetically healed his arms. And now Orochimaru's got full control of his arms, but Orochimaru is no way like a counterattack for Naruto. I don't think he can even battle against Naruto right now. So Orochimaru has done some digging. And he's done some various amounts of digging. And he came across this being, this strong being. He sensed strength from him, and he looks at this being and says, you are going to be the one that pushes Naruto to his extreme limits. So Lady Tsunade would return back to the village. She would heal Kakashi from his battle wounds when he fought Itachi, and everything would play out as of normal. But only this time, Naruto and Sasuke are in the training field and they're facing each other. Now, Sasuke right now has said, no more excuses. We are going to fight Naruto. And this is where Naruto smiles and he gets into his stance and saying, well, I can't hold it off any longer as this was long overdue. Naruto and Sasuke get into their stances. They get into a fight. They're looking at each other. The sweat is dripping from their head, but they both are smiling. Sasuke and Naruto both Sasuke get into his usual stance, but he takes off his shirt, sort of similar to how they do in Baki. He takes off his shirt, takes off his shoes, and wraps tape around his wrist. Sort of and similar, Naruto does the same thing. Now they're just in Muay Thai pants, and nothing else on. Just Muay Thai pants, tape around their ankles and wrists, and they're looking at each other. Naruto gets into his stance and Sasuke gets into his. And the auras are intense. The ground is starting to basically tremble and the chakra is starting to radiate around Naruto and Sasuke as both of their eyes glow red and they both smile at each other and then charge forward. Thank you guys for sticking with me with how far I've gotten. I didn't even think I would get this far, but it's so shocking to look at how far I've grown. 5,000 subscribers. Oh my God, that's just insane. And we're growing so fast that I'm not even gonna doubt that we won't even we'll be able to reach 10,000 subscribers. Anyway, I love you guys. And without any further ado, you guys have a good day, a good night. And I'm not going to set a like goal as I'm just going to keep on releasing parts to this series as I want to finish it so I can focus on other series and everything. And I'm not going to be doing anything new as of yet, but I'm also going to be jump starting my horror series. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, plus ultra. Good night, guys.